speech and the best kind of government and patriots or people interaction, that has all been curtailed now. The problem is that we've got a large number of people in America who actually believe that it should have been curtailed, and they voted for it in this recent election with Obama. And as you made mention of the fellow Dice, I think was his name in the earlier segment, that Californians are actually voting or believing that freedom of speech should be curtailed to some degree. What has happened is that there has been such a mind washing of people through the media. A large part of the reason why we've gotten to where we are, and people are not aware of the Constitution, the schools have been stripped of teaching pro-Americanism, Constitution, democracy, the Bible. They've been stripped. The institutions have been stripped.
People have nothing, so they're an empty vessel to be filled. Let's go to some phone calls before we're out of time here. You've been gracious to spend this time with us. Pat in Ohio, you're on the air with Dr. Manning. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex and Reverend Manning.
Hello.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying about President Obama.
Same person.
Yeah, it is. But I think you've been a little too harsh when you say that, when you call for the execution of him if he's found guilty of lying about his birth certificate. Sure, he should go to jail or whatever, but to be executed, no, even though it may be a law. I think that's a little too harsh. And if anybody needs to be executed, it should be President Bush. I mean, considering what he did on 9/11. He was involved in the 9/11 event, him and Vice President Cheney.
Well, again, but I'm not going to sit here and call for that. I don't want anything to happen to those guys because they're high-level puppets, and that'll turn the whole system into a victim when it's the victimizer. But, Pat, I appreciate your call. Let me get a comment from Dr. Manning on that.
Well, if the question is about capital punishment, that you would be adverse to that, then I can certainly appreciate it. But if it's simply about the severity of the crime, I think that the issue of the birth certificate may be the doorway, but the severity of the crime, what the illegal status has done, and the number of people that have been injured as a result of him coming to power in an illegal way might be a way you would want to consider that. Because if he's created great injury and been able to launch more wars and create more deaths, then you may think and may reconsider and say, well, it might be worth execution at that point. And then the other thing is that founding fathers established that so that people would understand that fidelity to this nation is absolutely critical. Do not betray this nation under any circumstance, or your life is at risk.
Let's talk to Julio in Illinois. Julio, welcome.
Alex Jones, Dr. Manning, Freedom Fighters. How are you this afternoon, gentlemen?
Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you. I praise you for what you're doing right now. Quick comment then to my question. Startpage.com, everybody. Please read Alternative Futures for 2025. They have this thing called Gulliver's Travels, pretty much a prelude. It was April 96, a prelude to what's going on currently in Haiti. My question, you guys are talking about a protest, what we need to do. Everyone needs to know that we need to be peaceful in these actions. I just got done with my sociology class. My professor, God bless this man, he's a Christian. I believe everything is happening for a reason. He talked about Dr. King. I resaw his speech. In the beginning, he talked about he is collecting a debt, talking about the Constitution and how we are granted this freedom. We need to have a march on Wall Street. Everyone knows that the criminal offshore bank known as the Federal Reserve are looting us high and dry right in front of our faces.
All right, let me move on to his comments. We're about to go to break. Clearly, I believe in identifying the bankers as the real government, the real criminals, and bypassing the puppet presidents. Your take on that?
The Bible states the borrower is the servant of the lender. He who controls the money controls all of the honey. Well, he who controls the money controls the world, quite frankly.
So we go after the banks.
Absolutely. We must, the Federal Reserve, I think, not so much the banks. They are certainly a target, no doubt about it, and a very visible one.
I mean the mega banking structure. Sure, I don't mean your Mayberry Bank. You should support that, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But the Federal Reserve, I think most people are unaware of how insidious the Federal Reserve is, how it was founded, what it does, and how it manipulates world governments. It manipulates, if you will, the growth of products and services in other nations. must be exposed and dethroned.
We're going to come back, take 3 quick calls in the last segment with Reverend Manning. Isaac, Tracy, and Mark, stand by. We're going right to you after this break in the final segment with our guest. Then a big news blitz coming up at the bottom of the hour. Stay with us.
AirandAqua.com is your one-stop shop for some of the most affordable air and water purification systems available on the market today. AirandAqua.com knows exactly what doesn't belong in our air and our water, and they know exactly how to help you rid your home or office of these harmful toxins. Did you know that your skin actually absorbs more chlorine while you shower than from the water you drink? AirandAqua.com can help you eliminate dangerous chlorine from your water. AirandAqua.com carries atmospheric water generators, glass water bottles, chlorine-reducing shower filters, air purifiers, water ionizers, filters that remove up to 95% of the fluoride in your water, whole house water purification systems, solar-powered lawn and garden products, water testing kits, and more. Visit AirandAqua.com. That's Air and AQUA Aqua.com. Or call 1-866-380-2782. That's 1-866-380-2782. AirandAqua.com. Purify your life today.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today, it seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Gold isn't for you? Ted Anderson, president of Midas Resources, one of the world's premier gold and precious metal investing firms. I get it. You wouldn't buy gold if you believed that the government is doing a great job, that the Fed will stop handing out trillions of dollars like bailout candy, that Social Security would be there for you. That's not what's happening. You might even pass on gold if the stimulus package wouldn't fuel inflation, or that the dollar wouldn't lose value, or that your retirement would be secure. If all looks rosy to you, then now is not the time to buy gold. For the realist, there have never been more sobering reasons to diversify with gold. Since 2001, the U.S. dollar index has tanked 30% while gold has risen 300%. Right now, savvy investors are adding gold to their portfolios. You should too. Find out what they know. Call us and I'll send you 10 reasons why gold will do very well, free. 800-686-2237. 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Hello. At ofthefield.com, we strive to empower you with wild food preparedness. We get lots of amazing positive feedback, most of which we feature on ofthefield.com. Here's a small sample of all that people like you have to say about the wild food experience.
It's inspiring for many who are affected by the recent downturn of the economy.
I already knew a bit about foraging and edibles, but you take it to a whole new level.
1,000 thanks to you for all that great knowledge. It was empowering.
When I was in the Navy, I went through a couple of quick land survival classes.
Thank you for being an inspiration and for all the work that you do.
I really appreciate the depth and detail of the information.
Thank you so much.
Much love and respect to you from all of us here in the boonies.
Thanks again.
Knowledge is power, and that power brings peace.
Folks, thanks for letting us help you get back to basics. Read all of the testimonials at ofthefield.com. You can order online for you and your loved ones or call 1-888-51-EAT-FREE to share in the secret.
Let's move quickly to the calls. Final segment with Reverend Manning. Let's talk to Isaac in Colorado. Isaac, you're on the air. Welcome.
Gentlemen, I wanted to get Reverend Manning's take on the Romans chapter 13 thing with the whole FEMA clergy response team thing they're trying to push on all these
Reverend, I'm sure
churches.
you're aware that covertly, we got the documents 4 years ago, Butch Paul got them, but 2 years after they admitted they've secretly hired tens of thousands of preachers to covertly teach Romans 13, give up your guns, go to the FEMA camp. We have preachers on TV admitting this. I mean, is that your question in total, Isaac?
Yeah, pretty much how he would respond to something like that.
Well, first of all, I was not one of them. But secondly, any preacher who is paid to promote a particular gospel is no longer a preacher. He's no longer a servant of the Lord. But understanding the government going after asking preachers to do that and them acquiescing to it, yes, I'm sure they've done it. I don't think they've been very effective, though. I think that